Morning, everybody. Kevin here from Watch This with Joe and Kevin. Getting into episode 2 of the second season of For All Mankind. It was a fantastic premiere episode on the season. The radiation of the lunar surface was obviously the big set piece. That was pretty spectacular. My big concern coming out of that episode is, of course, the health of Molly and the guy that she rescued. And I'm sorry, I don't remember his name, but we didn't get a whole lot of time with him, so I don't feel as bad about that. But Molly got a pretty good dose of radiation, and that can mean any number of things, especially in fiction. You can kind of get away with what you want with that. So I don't know if Molly is going to have cancer, if she's going to, if she's going to be okay, if there's going to be other. I mean, there's a list, right? A range of health problems she could have depending on how much radiation she got, and I'm not really sure how long it took to effect that rescue. It was a really bold move. I can't say I would have done it because it's a really, really dangerous move. But good for her, and I really do hope she's okay because she's one of my favorite characters on the show. We had the time jump, and one of the things we really saw was that Ed and Karen have kind of moved on. Like we left off with it with the tragedy of Shane, and there's obviously been a time passage of about 8 years, I believe, here. So they've adopted a daughter who seems to be older, so maybe she was kind of in the same age group as Shane when the adoption happened. I'm not sure. They seem to be doing okay. They Karen seemed to be doing really well. She had taken over the bar, the outpost, and was kind of crushing it. It looked like so it was kind of one of those things where it's with okay, Karen has found something beyond just being a wife and mother, which is what I kind of felt like she was in that position of that being how she was defined in the first season, time period and everything. It was appropriate, but didn't have much else going on. Whereas the other women in the show, like Tracy, joined the space program and became astronauts, and were kind of out of the shadows of their own personal lives. But not Karen, and I guess maybe the tragedy with Shane kind of forced her to take a hard look at that. I know we definitely had hints in the cracks of their armor of she and Ed's relationship in season 1, and we got the sense that she was doing a lot better in season 2. But then there was that scene where she went outside the bar, and I'm not sure that even what she's doing now was fulfilling her, and there may still be tough times ahead for her and Ed. I don't know what that's going to look like, but I'm not convinced that she's kind of gotten to that happy place yet. Baby steps, maybe, but I still think that Karen isn't completely fulfilled with where she is, but we'll see moving forward. Let's go and jump into it now, guys. Do want to go and thank all of our Patreon subscribers for being here, and give a special shout out to super patrons Actuarial Lurker, Balaz Foldes, Chris, Jeff, Christy Goverston, NJ, Surya Gundavarapu, and Weird Magic. Thank you so much, guys. We're very happy you're with us. If you'd like to see a full length reaction of this and everything else we've watched or watching, check out a link to the description below of our Patreon page. Every show, including For All Mankind, we're at least 4 episodes ahead on Patreon of where we are on YouTube. So if you get done watching the YouTube highlights here and want to keep going, you can do it on our Patreon page. You will have to sync and watch along on your own source material. You will only see and hear me for copyright purposes. We are also currently watching 30 Rock as a Patreon exclusive. Well, that's quite a start.
Okay, follow the light point.
Oh, yeah, there it is. He's got the red on his badge and hers is green because she took it off. Which means effectively hers should be red too. She have eye damage?
See what we can do here, huh?
She's way dilated.
You will almost certainly develop cancer in the next few years.
I'm moving my return trip up to tomorrow so I can get him back to Houston. I'm sorry. My decision is final. We leave at 0900.
That's so easy for you to say.
Well, that is a nice dark opening.
The Reagan administration continues to defend its decision to go to DEFCON 3.
A solar flare brought us to the brink of war. Thanks to the saber-rattling
Oh, the
policies
deep fakes on this are amazing.
We're not going to get more than another couple of months out of the reactor if we're lucky.
So, after this storm fiasco, the president thinks it's prudent to ease tensions with the Soviets. An American astronaut and a Soviet cosmonaut coming together to show our common purpose with a handshake in space.
Okay, so this is like Apollo Soyuz, that joint mission.
We reach our hand out in peace, and when the Soviets smack it away, we come out smelling like roses.
4 tours, 723 days. I've had my fill.
I hereby relieve you as commander of Jamestown.
I stand relieved.
I wonder if she's still seeing Pam at all. Hope so. It's an interesting choice to use the shuttle for this. I mean, I know we have to have the shuttle because it's historically what came next, but I don't think the shuttle was designed in any way to leave Earth orbit. It's built like an airplane, you know? That's cool shot, though.
Some guys just never get free of it, you know? It's like they're still over there. Poor Danny.
Oh, her husband died?
How you holding up?
I like seeing the three together. I don't care.
Really, I'm trying to get back to my old self. I want to go back.
Okay, good.
Back
She's
where?
still with NASA.
Jamestown. I want to suit up in the morning. Put my boots in the moon dust.
It's Ed's call, right? He's the one that's in Deke's old job.
Put in the paperwork tomorrow.
Good.
Danny.
Wild West.
I really feel sad for Gordo right now.
And the Russians, well, they were the Indians.
So he's still not okay. I think it's going to be pretty clear pretty quickly that she's not okay. Would that be okay? Hey. Oh, Wayne!
Hey.
Breaking Bad
Kelly,
moment.
breakfast.
Annapolis, she's thinking about joining the academy.
Now you're back down here for good. You're gonna make up for lost time.
I have too much on my plate right now with a new job and everything.
Right.
So she's single.
Is it me?
I don't think so, but
You're gonna be
you.
hobnobbing with congressmen and cabinet secretaries. You gotta look the part.
We're gonna need to implement a retrofit of Jamestown to better protect against future solar events. The only place I can see to draw funds from yet again is the Mars program.
We could kill the new Mars EMU.
We're 5 years into the Mars program, and it's already 10 years behind schedule.
Sorry, he was just saying it was regarding Alita Rosales. Should I have known who that is?
No.
Okay, so they're not still close. That's sad. I hate that.
But you launched in less than a month and you just missed your third sim. So.
No, I'm sorry, Ed. Is there a problem, Ed?
Nope.
Yes, clearly.
Hey, you can't just be happy for me.
You cannot forget that Gordo was also a bad husband to her, for sure. But I don't like seeing him get kicked around either. Does this mean that Ed and Gordo are done going to space, or is there going to be something that changes that?
Captain Stevens?
Get out of here.
Trace.
Gordo?
I've known you a pretty long
He
time.
knows that she
Mom.
didn't
Spit
she
it
didn't
out,
hide
Ed.
the whole time.
There's no way you waited in that lava tube for the storm to pass.
I'm really glad these two have become good friends.
Wow, when I first met the great Ed Baldwin, he was the last person in Houston I ever thought would be flying a desk.
Got a fridge full of beer and cheese balls and Sergeant Slaughter's on the tube.
We were gonna go hang out with some friends. Your first night back and all.
Right.
I wonder if Gordo flies at all anymore, like airplanes. Like Danny was worried that if they knew he was losing it on the moon, that he wouldn't be able to fly anymore at all. They'd pull his license and he wouldn't be an astronaut anymore. I wonder if he flies at all now. He just seems so sad.
Hey, Ed, could you come down here?
What happened?
It's Gordo.
Oh, he's at the outpost. Oh, I hate seeing him like this.
Good. Want to go get some fresh air? Go for a little walk?
Having a good time.
I can tell you're having a good time.
This is really sad to see Gordo like this.
You gotta
Just
move on.
Move on, right?
She has. You got a good job?
I'm stuck. No, it won't let me go. You know, I know that you had it harder than me, you know, with Shane. You found a way to make peace with it.
I need to check out more of Michael Dorman's work. He is so good in this show. You know how hard it would be to have to tell the "What a Hero I Am" story every night when you know it's not true? There's a chance that he goes back because Ed thinks it's going to help him, and maybe it will.
I'm heading back home to the Netherlands, so I guess this is goodbye. I need to do what's best for
No,
me
you're
and my
taking the
family.
easy way out. That's what you're doing.
No, Molly.
You don't give up, Wubbo. You keep fighting.
She projects an awful lot when she's mad. Yeah. For a second, I thought it was like, get in here, you're on the next flight.
Danielle Poole will be joining the crew of STS-83 Romeo.
Yeah.
Captain Gordo Stevens will be joining her.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
Congratulations, Captain.
I'm not going back up, Ed. I can't. You know I can't.
I decided who goes up. When? Remember?
You know, all the characters I loved in season 1 are really going through it in season 2. Good use of a wide shot there. I mean, I know that... sorry. Let's get out of this. I know viewers watching this already know the answer to this, but I kind of feel like, you know, maybe overall, you don't know how it's going to go, right? Maybe this kind of kick in the pants is what Gordo needs to get his life back on track. So I understand the sentiment, but him not having any say in it is kind of rough. Like, he's clearly an alcoholic. He's depressed. He's terrified to go back to the moon. He's dealing with a lot of personal stuff, and dealing with is doing a lot of heavy lifting there, right? Because I'm not sure how well he's dealing with it at all. And now you're going to put him, you know, in a situation that's very dangerous and very high stress. And the last time it happened, it didn't go well. I'm assuming it's going to go a lot better, because this would be an absolute tragedy if Ed sent Gordo back to the moon, especially against his will, and he handled it he dealt with it just as poorly or worse this time than last time. Because I think there are telltale signs here that it could be worse. Right? He's in a lot worse shape psychologically than the first time he went. So go on for him, but I don't know that I agree with Ed's decision here. I'm assuming on some level it's going to be okay. Otherwise, this shows something else, like, oh, I sent Gordo up to the moon again, and this time when he thought there were ants on him, he went ahead and took his helmet off. You know, something horrible like that. So I guess we'll see. I think that's probably Gordo going back to the moon is probably going to be an important part of this season, and I think the Soviets are going to be a bigger part this season, because there was a weird moment right at the very end of last season with the cosmonaut that Ed had kind of kidnapped, and he looked back at Jamestown Base when Ed took off to go do his rescue of Ellen. So I assumed that he did something, like they were leaning into that, but the base has been completely redone, so nothing came of that. Maybe it was like a decision was made to change that. But I do think the Soviets, you know, we're dealing with, you know, President Ronald Reagan, who, you know, ask anybody who studied any history, had an incredibly adversarial stance towards the Soviets. One where kind of everyone in the world thought nuclear war was inevitable. Fortunately, did not come to that. But I think that that's going to be important, and I don't know if Danny and Gordo on the moon, you know, that's going to be a thing to do with that. We have the Apollo Soyuz mission, or what was that, coming up, which is going to be something different. Despite the fact that they said, "Don't worry, it'll never come to that," I think it will. I think it's weird. I don't believe that they're going to have a fake publicity stunt just so they can say, "Ha ha, it didn't work." So I think it is going to be a mission that happens, right? Nobody flinches in this game of chicken to where they're actually going to dock, and I think they will. So I assume we're going to spend more time on the moon this season, maybe even than we did last season. And I think Danny and Gordo are going to obviously be a big part of that. Tracy's also training, so she might as well. But then again, we have other types of missions they were talking about, like the one where one of our characters, I'm assuming one of our significant characters, is going to be on the space shuttle flight that meets the Soviets for the handshake. I don't know what that's going to look like, but I like what we're setting up for the rest of this season. I'm just really concerned that I don't know. I'm bothered with how Ed's handling Gordon. I know it's probably going to work out and be okay, but I feel like in the real world that's probably a bad idea. Fortunately, this is television, right? But I guess we'll see moving forward. We'll catch you in the next one, guys. Thank you.